Burger challenge. That's what today's video recipe is all about. Unlike any other burger challenge that I've ever done before, or one you may have ever seen, we're gonna do goat, lamb, and venison so that we can capture the perfect flavors of all of these different cuts of meat. Let's go. First thing we're gonna do is show you all the ingredients that we've got to work with today. Ground lamb, local venison, and since ground goat is not very common, what I did is I went to my Asian store here in town and I got me some goat meat. We're gonna have to make ground goat out of that, and we're gonna make them pretty much all three the same using the same ingredients. We're gonna season them up with salt, pepper, garlic. We're gonna grill some red onion. We're gonna put a little bit of Worcestershire and the SPG within the meat itself. Toast up some really good quality buns, and then we've got provolone cheese because provolone's not going to be very strong. We want to compare the taste of what all three of these similar size animals, what they will taste like between the lamb, the venison, and the goat. So let's get started. With the bone, this is about 4 pounds, and I don't need that much. So what I did was I pulled the meat apart. So I'm just going to slide my knife in here and do my best to get rid of some of that silver skin right there. And then let me get the silver skin removed from this piece and grab a little bit more here. And then we're gonna grind it in our food processor to make ground goat meat. It's not perfect. I have a tiny bits of silver skin, but hey, it's the best I can work with. Let's go ahead and dump it into a food processor because I don't have a meat grinder. Best we can do. That looks pretty good. What do you think? Goat's in a bowl, and I've got some lamb here. This came from a company called Good Life Brands. So I'm gonna take some of that lamb right inside there. Some of our local venison. My son actually shot this with a bow. So I'm gonna take some salt, pepper, garlic, every single one of them. So salt, pepper, garlic on the goat, salt, pepper, garlic on the lamb, salt, pepper, garlic on the venison. Worcestershire, wash your sister, cousin, brother, whoever. We're gonna go about 1.5 teaspoons of each. And what I'm gonna have to do, just so that I don't have not necessarily cross-contamination, so that I don't interfere flavors with flavors, I'm gonna have to wash my hands in between each mixing. So here is the venison. I'm just simply gonna mix the salt, pepper, garlic, and the Worcestershire sauce together. Let's mix our lamb, salt, pepper, garlic, Worcestershire. Kind of hard to see that, but let's get that mix. Then we'll go to the goat. Now with the goat, let's get that mixed real good. Man, it seems to be just really loose. I went ahead and formed that goat patty. We'll set it right there on our parchment. And let's make a lamb patty. So here is that venison. Let's make a nice, beautiful patty. So there we go, there's the venison. Next, let's cut up some onions and butter our buns. The St. Peter brioche buns are just outstanding. So let's take a little bit of butter. We're gonna butter up our buns, and we're just gonna toast them on the grill. And you guys know my knife brand, Flint and Flame. Simply gonna cut just a bunch of rounds, and we're gonna grill them. They're gonna sweeten up the burger. Just to ensure I got plenty of seasoning on there, I'm gonna add just a little bit more. So I'm gonna keep everything left to right in alphabetical order. So we're gonna go goat, lamb, and venison so that I don't get confused. All right, down with the goat burger first. Lamb, venison, onions. Let's go ahead and get those buns toasted too. All right, close the lid, let's rock and roll. See how the lamb is shrinking? That's because it's a little bit processed versus these. It's not processed meat. Flip our onions. Y'all, we have a guest on the show today. A famous guy. His name is Neal from the Flat Top King and Pellets and Pits. Don't tell anybody else he's here. Let's get our onions removed. At least that's what the Flat Top King says. The lamb is the first one done. We're gonna go ahead and put cheese on it. All right, the goat is at 165. We're gonna cheese it. Venison's ready. We're gonna cheese it. We've come in from outside. The next step is to put mayonnaise on the bottom bun. But I gotta ask you a question. Are you Team Aldi with your mayonnaise? Team Dukes or Team Hellman's? Or maybe Blue Plate is your brand. But for this one, I gotta say we're gonna go Dukes. Let's go. Little Happy Dukes on there on the bottom bun. First, let's go with that goat, the smaller lamb burger. Then we're gonna go with that venison burger. That's the heartiest, kind of thickest one out of them all. And we're gonna get some onions on each one. Man, I can't wait to dig into this thing. All right, top bun. All right, here's our goat burger, the lamb burger, and the venison burger. Now it's time to taste the burger. So we got the goat, lamb, and venison, and I've got my good buddy Neal here. We're gonna give it a go to see what we think of each one, and we're gonna start with the craziest one of all, the goat burger. Wrong sound. You ready?
I'm ready.
I don't know about you, but that's pretty daggone good. Flavor profile.
Surprisingly beefy. I did not expect that flavor profile. I expected way more game.
I don't know how much goat you've eaten in your life, but I've eaten a ton. And I love the flavor of goat in general, but when it's ground like that, and the part of the goat that I got was the neck part right here of the goat, that's the meat that I was given, that I asked for.
Specifically?
Yep.
Because it's fattier?
No, it's gonna be the most tender part of the goat.
Oh wow.
And goat meat, it's just like venison, there's not much fat.
Right.
Lamb, this is actually more processed lamb. It's not like from his backyard or anything like that.
Bah. You know, last time we did this together, you had me get my own eggs. I'm just glad you didn't have me get my own goat this time.
But we might be able to make that happen. All right, let's go. Definitely has that lamb kiss just within a couple seconds of biting into the lamb, without a doubt.
And once again, you actually always swallow them 3 bites in. I don't know how you do it. Do you chew?
Venison is our last burger, and one thing to remind you guys of, this is local. This came from about 15 miles away from my house. All right, here is the venison. My son shot this with his bow.
High hopes for this one.
That was good. All right, I'm going slow on this one, I don't know why.
About time. Wrong, because your body said slow down.
So immediately to me, I don't get any real sharp venison gamey flavor. And in fact, to me, the goat and the venison are less pronounced with that hint of
100% gaminess.
Gaminess to it, where, you know, lamb obviously has its own unique flavor profile to it, whereas these were a lot milder in my opinion.
I actually thought the venison was so mild in flavor that it actually enhanced the bun. I thought the bun tasted sweeter on this one.
Ah.
Yeah, I thought the sweetness actually came out in the venison, where I think the flavor profiles of the other two kind of were a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
So it took the bun down. So this is so mild. I guess what I said, so mild in flavor. Like
much milder than the lamb by far, and then actually just a tad milder than even the goat. So I'm gonna give the goat I'm gonna give it a solid 8 for sure.
Okay.
What about you?
I think a little lower. I think the flavor
is unique.
Was enhanced. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more fat in there for me, just for my liking.
There's not any fat in these, and I wanted to try my best to get the flavor profile of each meat, so therefore I didn't add like any bacon grease or beef fat, lamb. I didn't add any fat to these. These are just straight up very lean pieces or very lean meats. Yeah. So the lamb, I thought had a really good flavor, but I like that rich, gamey lamb flavor. That's just me. I like it. I'd give it about the same, maybe 7.5, a little bit lower than the goat in my opinion.
I can see why people would make a tzatziki sauce or a yogurt sauce or something with lemon to help cut that richness of that. And I don't even know if gaminess is in the word. It's almost like it's its own unique taste right away.
Without a doubt.
I actually, because I do enjoy that flavor, I would actually rank it just whatever point you want to give it a little bit higher. than the goat. The goat was surprisingly mild. I just did not expect the mildness from it. Where as soon as you bite into the lamb, like it just gets you.
Yeah, immediately it pops with that lamb, you know, whatever that lamb gamey hint that it has to it, but I love it. So going over to the venison, I will probably give it the highest rating. I would say mainly because I know where it came from, and number two, it just, man, it didn't have a real strong gamey flavor to it, and it was very mild in contrast to definitely the lamb, and even a little bit milder than the goat. And I feel like the cheese and the bun complemented the meat very well. You didn't get an overpowering like gamey venison flavor at all. And this is actually only about 2 months old. It's been in my freezer.
Yeah, texture was there. Charcoal flavor is there, like we mentioned earlier, it enhanced the bun, so you get a lot more in-depth flavors in your mouth versus just focusing on the lamb or focusing on the goat. So I'd agree. I'd have put the venison right up there.
Okay. And I didn't do, just so you guys watching at home, I didn't do any fancy sauces,
no,
you know, any rich acid flavors, because I wanted to really try to test out, see what kind of flavor profiles that we could pull out of each cut of meat to do something unique and different. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. From me and Neal over here in East Tennessee, thanks for watching. Until next video. Peace.